Week 2 of the NFL. I've watched so much NFL. I've talked about so much NFL stuff. I've watched so many podcasts. I still think I don't know enough, Blandy.
You never know enough. Every day's a school day, isn't it, Anthony?
I know one thing. Bronco Barry's alarm clock must be playing up because he's late on today. There he is.
Here he comes.
He is.
It's just, I know why. He was waiting for the dial-up to kick in. Someone must have been using the phone.
You can't always blame the internet, but it's not helping at the moment. I was wolting down my tea in the last 5 minutes.
Anything good?
Chicken and rice. Nice. Yeah, good.
Yeah, simple.
How was your sliced burger last night?
Very good, yeah. I got a pizza rather than a burger. Pizza.
Yeah, it's like a square, like a rectangle one, isn't it? Like a square one.
Yeah. Detroit style, bolognese, peppers, delicious. Yeah, enjoyed it.
Where's that from? Cockenden?
Yeah, sliced burger, Cockenden, yeah.
Never
It takes forever to come, like, doesn't it? You have to wait a while for the delivery.
Yeah, I tell you what.
The flight in from Detroit, do they?
It'd be quicker.
I tell you what, you go past it on a night, it's just Uber Eat like drivers outside.
Yeah,
so it must be.
I've been in on a weekend. I go in order, then go in the Trabs for a pint, and then come back for it. That's my normal trick.
Nice touch. Nice touch. We'll start a fast food podcast coming soon.
Yeah, we've all got plenty of experience.
We can do a review of all.
We definitely do. We definitely
all of it. We probably know more about fast food than we do about NFL.
I was just saying there before you came on, Baz. I've watched so much. This is probably like the. I wouldn't say I'm trying hard. I'm just enjoying fantasy football at the minute. I've watched more football than I normally do. I've watched more podcasts, listened to more podcasts than I normally do. I've watched games in 40 and whatever else, which I know you're doing as well. And I still don't feel like I'm scratching the surface of like knowledge.
It's a difficult one to, I think, master, isn't it? You know, I think we get a enjoyment from watching it. Then you dig a little bit deeper and get, oh, I understand the players a bit more, and maybe I understand the players a bit more, and a bit some of the tactics and what do. But there's just so many levels to it. It's, you know, formations, and the defensive side, and on the linemen and the blocking and all that. It's just very complex.
Yeah,
but it's enjoyable to get to the next step, isn't it? I think.
Still no more than the Raiders head coach Anthu decided to punt down 6 points in the fourth quarter inside the Chargers half with 7 minutes to go. Yeah, that was one of the worst decisions you will ever see in your life, and they were duly punished by J.K. Dobbins shortly afterwards. But that was I mean, to be honest, it's a sackable offence. It really should be a sackable offence.
It was on the red zone. I think they were saying like the percentage, and obviously they're all in the percentages, aren't they? And if it was a 51% chance to do it, I think they're saying the percentage was like really, really low. It was a really low percentage call to do that. So there's absolutely nothing in the favour of doing it.
No. Like, it's criminal. Quite literally thrown the game.
And if we had to add to people we know more than, we can probably anyone in the Panthers organisation, because I think we've got more knowledge than they have at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're a bit handicapped by their owner at present. You can't really do much to remove him, so you just have to put up with it.
Have to roll with it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right, same as always. We'll jump straight to a question if we've got one. So let's jump to the question first. From Captain Ahab. Now, I looked up who the hell Captain Ahab is. It's the sailor from Moby Dick. There you go.
Excellent.
Evening, gents. Love the show. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. First question. Play 2. Bench one of these wide receivers this week. Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, or Coleman, the new Buffalo lad.
That's a good question, I think. If you're going to bench 1 and play 2, I think they've all got a little bit of question marks over them. The first 2 probably around the quarterback play. Caleb didn't look particularly good, or his numbers weren't particularly good. It's not supportive of your wide receivers. Similar with Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper. And then I'm sure we're on Keon Coleman, aren't we, from the Bills? Yeah, and I think again, just when I was looking at a bit of the sort of the notes and the preview of this, he was meant to be a little bit struggling at separation, but he was actually very good at the contested catch in his first game. So I think his numbers weren't great because there was a lot of spread at the Bills, but I'd probably go for Keon Coleman and then bench one of the other 2 just because of the question marks of the quarterback.
The plus for Keon Coleman is that he, in his first game in the NFL as a rookie, he ran 90% of the routes for the Bills. Was pretty efficient, 1.89 yards per route run. He wasn't one of the wide receivers who got in the end zone, though. That was Mac Hollins, Khalil Shakir. But there's certainly positives to be taken with him. I'd definitely give Amari Cooper another shot this week. He only totaled 16 total. Well, he totaled 16 total yards last week in the game against the Cowboys. Now, they're going to be getting easier matchup this week against the Jaguars, but he had 187 air yards. So it wasn't like they weren't trying to get him the ball. You know, on the 9 targets that he did have. There was a clear intent to get him the ball. It just didn't work out last week. So I would definitely go back to Amari Cooper. And then, do you want to play DJ Moore with Caleb? Hopefully that turns around. Caleb is a better passer this week. He's taking things.
One thing I noticed, Bo Nix got absolutely hammered after that performance, right? And Caleb Williams seems to have got away with it, especially, certainly in our group.
Well, he got away with it because they won.
Yeah, and that was only because of the defense.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. So it would definitely be Amari for me. And then you might want to chance Keon Coleman in a what could be or has the potential to be a shootout game this week. It's tonight actually, isn't it? The Bills against the Dolphins. Yeah. I don't think the Dolphins secondary is particularly good. But their offense can obviously put up points, so it could be a high scoring game.
Does that include your man Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's struggling with a hammy anyways, and he played a little bit at the weekend. Obviously, gave away the DPI in the end zone on Brian Thomas. That led to the end touchdown. Yeah, he did. Yeah, so maybe Coleman and Cooper want to see a bit more. I think from the Bears passing game.
I think that's the right answer. I think I'm in agreement with that one.
He looks decent, doesn't he, Keon Coleman? I thought in the first week.
There was a play down the sideline where Josh put it on his back shoulder. He had to ran the route, then he had to turn around, come back to the ball to make a tight catch on the sideline. I thought it was pretty impressive, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think they alluded to that in the commentary, didn't they? Said for all his issues with separation, his ability to grab hold of the ball mitigates that a little bit. So yeah,
that was never really in question. Yeah, like you say, it was his separation. Yeah.
So are we edging towards then Coleman?
Yeah, Coleman and Cooper, I think.
Coleman and Cooper. I'm happy with that. I think it's pretty tight, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I've got the box score thing from the Bills up, and whilst there was a good spread, he did have the most targets. Keon Coleman at 5.
He ran the most routes. He ran the most
that's
routes
encouraging for a week 1 rookie, isn't it?
Yeah, he had 90% route rate. Keke was at 66. Matt Collins was at 56.
What about Curtis Samuel?
He only played 7 snaps, I think. Curtis Samuel. Yeah. He didn't play at all, barely. It was single digit snaps that he played. It was 7 or 9, can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, he was a complete non-factor.
Good evening, Tazza. Thank you for joining us. Said hello in a timely manner. I think this is your real account, or who knows? One of the reasons I think it might be a real account is his first question is: would you trade away Marvin Harrison? Let me pull it up. Marvin Harrison for Travis Etienne.
And is this a live offer on the board, do you think? Sounds like it could be.
No comment.
Yeah.
So if you drafted Marvin Harrison, you'd have drafted him around what about
second round?
Early second round,
early mid-second. Etienne, is he around later? Generally, Blandy, was he 3rd?
Yeah, he was also going in the second, later second, early 3rd. So it wasn't a great deal. Yeah, it wasn't a great deal between them.
Obviously, Marvin Harrison had a very Etienne got a touchdown, and he also fumbled.
He did. Cost him the game.
In the game, yeah, basically. And then you've got Tank eating into his Russian.
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting. It was a 50-50 split, wasn't it? I know some of it might have been caused by the fumble and a reaction to it, but even before that, I think he wasn't miles ahead on the split between the two of them. So they're obviously giving Tank Bigsby more of a run. I think we had a discussion saying it's not born out of anything he did last season because he was pretty poor, but I think the chat seems to be more around Etienne sort of burnt out a bit last season, or the Jaguars thought he did. So let's ease his workload throughout the season to make sure he can still go when we need him come the postseason or getting towards postseason. So I think that's probably playing out worse than people feared who drafted Etienne. So I don't think I'll be looking to give away Harrison for him.
I think I'd rather acquire Harrison and trade away Etienne would be the way I would do it. So it depends which side of the deal that you're on. I would value Harrison higher than Etienne.
But we could be sat here in 4 weeks, 6 weeks time, and Harrison still not hit his straps, and Etienne is just steady plugging away, getting his touchdowns, getting his even on 50% touches, 6% touches, still getting 15, 20 points. So it's not I don't think it's a given either way who's going to score the most points, but I think you want to see a bit more from Harrison. He was a first round draft pick. He's a fantasy first, second rounder, so you want to give him more time, don't you?
Yeah, does have 3 very very nice games coming up. Harrison immediately to hopefully get his wheels underneath him. Against the Rams
and Commanders.
Yeah, those 3 games are going to be high scoring. The Cardinals have the worst defense in the league, so they're going to have to score points to keep up. If they aren't able to run the ball, and the way they have to score the points is by throwing the ball. So there's definitely a chance that he has a boom game in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, what we saw at the weekend wasn't encouraging.
Are we going to put that picture up of him being miles wide open and nobody around him and him not getting the ball?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like he's been getting obviously a hard time, and he did look slow, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But I think if he scored that touchdown, then no one would be going on about him.
Changed everything. One touchdown, one flash of brilliance.
it definitely would have papered over the cracks. But what you can say about that touchdown, or what wasn't a touchdown, what could have been, was that he obviously wasn't the primary read on that play. Murray was looking to go somewhere with a ball first, probably to Dortch or McBride. Yeah. And it's turned into a bit of a scramble drill. And then obviously he's got loose on the opposite side of the field, and Kyler hasn't been able to, hasn't seen him basically. But yeah, that's all I would say. He obviously wasn't the primary read on the play, because you're not going to be that wide open and not get the ball.
I was going to say, having watched a good bit of that game, the Cardinals did pretty well. So again, you've got the Buffalo, good team away from home. Not really fancy too much this season, the Cardinals. I thought they put a good account of themselves. And again, Murray played well. I think we all liked a bit of Murray, didn't we, before the season, saying he could bounce back. So plenty to like from the Cardinals' offense, which is again helpful for Harrison, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, and with the defense going to give up, probably at least 20 points every single game, that offense has to be good, has to score points just to keep up in games, really.
What did you make of Greg Dortch then? Because he was a little bit of he looked like the main wide receiver out of a bit of nowhere, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it's not out of nowhere though, is it? Because anytime Dortch has played over 60% of the snaps, he's always commanded targets. So, me and Anthony, I think, doing quite a few best ball drafts. So we've got quite a bit of late round exposure to Greg Dortch, because he is a target commander.
There was good news out of the training camp, wasn't it? All the time, it seemed.
Yeah.
So in the course of like 2 weeks, he's started to get drafted earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
From like the last round. Yeah. Well, not even in the last round. Then sometimes you get him picked up second last, third last. It seemed at the end.
Yeah, he's always been when he's been a full-time player. It hasn't happened regularly because he's had other other highly drafted wide receivers in front of him. But when he has gone on the pitch with a 60-70% snap share, he has always had a good targets per route run. He's good at drawing targets.
Yeah. So if he's someone, if he is a bit, I'm just going to quickly jump and say if he's available in some of the leagues, should be looking to pick him up in some of these deep leagues if he's available.
Yeah,
definitely. He's useful in your flex and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he's only 21% rostered there, it's saying, which is he should be 100% rostered in any 12-team league.
There's a little nugget for you, Ant.
Yeah, I'll write that down. Another question from Captain Ahab. Another one, if you get round to it. Which two would you play in flex spot this week between the following five? Likely, Ridley, Dobbins, Mason, and Flowers.
Well, there's an obvious one, isn't there? And then we can discuss the rest. So Jordan Mason's the obvious one, is it not?
Yeah, 100%.
On the basis we don't expect CMC to play. He had a great game. If CMC doesn't play, he's getting again a decent role there, and he's been pretty efficient. So why look?
I think even if CMC is like clear to play, he's still a start, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, anyway. It's gonna be interesting. This because like I was reading something earlier on, and I thought it was a good point. It was saying like obviously the Niners are like a Super Bowl team. They're not really bothered about like the playoffs kind of thing. They want to win the Super Bowl. So theoretically they could just hold him out, just hold him off until the
perfect.
When did they play the Rams? Would they play the Rams in? So you've got Vikings this week. So why would you play them against the Vikings? It makes no sense.
No. If they could if they can win without him, if Jordan Mason can run through the holes, again, they're definitely a scheme team rather than player team. It's good to see CMC is.
Yeah.
If he can run behind Trent Williams, if he can hit the gaps, if he can run hard and he doesn't fumble it, there's no reason, and they keep winning, there's no reason to rush CMC back, is there?
No.
Maybe he comes back into Rams. Is that a divisional?
It is, yeah.
Maybe he comes back for them, but I can't.
What week number is that?
So
3.
It's 3 years after this one.
3.
But can't see him go.
You'd expect him to ease him in as well, wouldn't you? They're not going to give him 30 touches on his first game back from an Achilles injury, either.
No.
Especially when Jordan Mason played so well.
Yeah. Like Mason had 28 carries. That's the most any running back has had for Kyle Shanahan in his 49ers era. No 49ers running backs had as many carries as that in a game before. So
is that
he's not scared to use him.
Is that partly because Mitchell's injured as well at the moment, Blandy? He probably doesn't have
Quite possibly.
Normally have 3 or 4 options, don't they? 2 of them are out. Yeah.
And Steve Wakes seems to know more about Isaac Guerrero than Kyle Shanahan does.
Yeah, he's a name not many people know too much about, are there?
No.
You have to go to the depth of Twitter to find anything of a note on that guy.
Yeah, very athletic. But he was very athletic in college and did do a great deal. But Shanahan's very good at making
players
making. Yeah. But for me, so it would be Mason for me, and then I would probably lean Dobbins.
Dobbins over Flowers.
Yeah, I think so. The Chargers are they're 6.5 point, 6 point favourites against the Panthers. Obviously, we saw the Panthers not look like a serious organisation last Sunday against the Saints when they absolutely got boat raced, and they just lost their best player, Derek Brown, who's primarily a run stuffer on the D line. He's their best player. Right. He's Pro Bowler. He's gone on IR. He's out for the season. So that's obviously not going to help. The Chargers O-line against the Raiders absolutely dominated. Joe Alt was flinging people all over the place. And J.K. Dobbins had 10 yards before contact. That's how big the holes were against the Raiders.
Look at his numbers there. 10 carries for 135 yards with a long of 61.
Yeah.
So
and also we're obviously not expecting that same kind of efficiency again. But playing such a poor Panthers defense, you could cut that in half and he's still going to have a very productive day.
So there's every chance of it end up in the end zone, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think I agree. I think again from the bits I've seen of red zone, the Saints, and look at the numbers, the Saints ran all over them, didn't they? Even your mate Kamara looked efficient against them.
Yeah, he was almost efficient. Yeah, almost.
Well, 15 carries, 83 yards, 5.5 a clip's not bad.
Yeah, even Jamal Williams got in on the act. That's how bad the Panthers' run defense was.
He did, yes, yeah. That was
garbage time. It wasn't garbage time. Yeah, it would be the 2 running backs for me.
Question from Jonathan Santiago. Jonathan, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We'd much appreciate it. What's up, guys? Flex 1 between Worthy or Brian Robinson. Full PPR with 1 point for first down.
Ooh.
What's that 1 point with first down?
Slightly different rules.
So if you get a first down, you get a point. It's exactly what it sounds like.
That.
You need to broaden your horizons, Anthony.
No, I can't. Like I say, I can't take any more. I wouldn't mind trying that vampire though. I'm like, yeah.
You can't have any more rule changes, can you? Or variations on rules. 1.5 tight end premiums enough for you, isn't it?
So you've got Xavier Worthy versus the Bengals. Brian Robinson versus the Giants. I'm a fan of Brian Robinson. The only
Mhm.
worry is if he gets touchdowns poached off him from the quarterback, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
There is
he's probably the play out
definitely
of
is
the two
that
for me.
potential. Yeah.
I guess the worthy concern is he only had 3 targets.
Mhm. Yeah, he did.
But some pretty big explosive ones, wasn't it, weren't there?
Yeah, he had 3 targets. Obviously, there was a touchdown, and there was the end around, and the Bengals defensive back today has made the Cardinals sin of going saying to the media that he's not worried about Xavier Worthy. All he can do is run fast in a straight line and go on jet sweeps. So that's gone all over Twitter. So you absolutely know that Andy Reid is going to be drawing up some players for Xavier Worthy to absolutely cook this guy.
That's what you call don't poke the bear, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Or don't poke the walrus. I think looking at the two, I think the safe play seems to be Robinson. You know, I think he'll give you quite a safe floor. He'll get his touches. He'll probably get a lot of first downs. You've got a potential of some booms with Worthy, those big, long bombs down the field, which may or not be a touchdown, maybe a 60, 70-yarder. It depends on your appetite. I think for me, I'd go Robinson, but I can see the thrill of trying to chase some upside on Worthy.
Yeah, I'm just looking here, right? So Robinson against the Buccaneers, he only had 3 first downs himself. So it's not like he was racking up a load of first downs.
No.
So
I think Eckler might have got a few on it off limited touches again.
Yeah, it was a pretty even split between the two of them. Robinson took a lot of the first and second down, the base role, and then Eckler came in for third downs and a bit of long down and distance work. But yeah, it was a split role, but they were kind of playing catch up towards the end as well. So I don't know how that influenced the usage. If the Commanders
for targets as well, weren't they? Like everyone was saying, "Oh, Eckler's receiving back, bloody bad." Tied for targets on the first game.
They did, yeah, because they were passing on first and second down more.
Yeah, I watched this game today just to see a bit of Jaylen Daniels, and the score would suggest that the Buccaneers sort of rolled them over, but it was quite close game really until the third, fourth quarter. They missed a lot of kicks early on Washington, which would have had them a lot closer, towards the half, and they actually moved the ball down the field quite a lot. It was just the defense was absolutely dreadful. At no point were they able to stop the Bucs, but on offense, the Commanders moved it reasonably well. And like I say, Robinson visually looked all right. He was against what's normally a strong run defense. The Bucs, he was plowing through them at a good enough rate. So it should get easier than facing the Bucs. So yeah, I think I was pretty impressed with Commanders and Robinson himself.
He showed some strength for that touchdown as well, didn't he? Getting over, I thought, like, just strong legs. He's a bit of a tank. I thought
just kept them churning, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a tricky one, isn't it? I don't know. I think you're right, Barry, where you're saying like
I'll go Robinson.
Like Worthy seems more of like a bit more of an exciting player, doesn't it? Whereas Robinson just seems like a solid floor, I guess.
Yeah, Robinson might get you 40, 50, 60 yards. He might get you a touchdown. He might not. A couple of receptions here and there. He's probably going to get you a steady 12 points, possibly towards the high teens if he does well. Worthy could be 1 or 2 points or 20-odd points.
Yeah. Blandy, what do you think?
Probably edge towards Robinson in what should be a close game against the Giants. So yeah, he can rack up some some carries, first downs there. They are, the Commanders are projected to be favourites in that game. So 1.5 points. So it should be a close game. where he can stay involved and not get game scripted out of it a little bit like he was towards the latter end of the game against the Buccaneers.
Okay. So our verdict is Brian Robinson, Jonathan. Any more questions? Keep them coming, mate. We're going to be here for the next hour or so, chatting shit.
Before we move on, Anth, can we
Go
just stay on the Commanders a second and just have a quick chat on QBs and rookie QBs and Jaylen Daniels? I thought he did pretty well for his debut away at the Bucs. In terms of obviously his fantasy points were good by his rushing, based on his rushing, he rushed for 80 odd yards. But I thought Jaylen Daniels, 2 touchdowns again. Goal line won the second one, but I thought his passing game wasn't bad for his debut in an average team with average players at the supporting cast. I thought he looked better than Caleb Williams and Bo Nix. I was relatively impressed.
Yeah, he definitely looked the best out of all the rookie QBs. Obviously, it's pretty low bar with those 2 that you mentioned. But yeah, there was certainly a little bit of probably gained a little bit of confidence by the way he played, and they can open it up a little bit more. He didn't have the greatest receiving cast round. Obviously, he's got Terry McLaurin, but he's got the corpse of Zach Ertz over the middle of the field, and then kind of hoping that Luke McCaffrey can come on in the slot. He did play quite a bit in the slot role. So hopefully his role
he looked
grows
all right as well,
and gives him another target.
Yeah, they tried a little trick play with him, didn't they? Where they tossed it out to him and they were expecting him to throw it back across the field, but it didn't. I don't think it opened up for him. But you can see they're going to use that again at some point because they're saying he's a former high school quarterback.
He was. He was a quarterback. Yeah, he was quarterback and running back. He's already played wide receiver for a year and a half in college.
But so Jaylen Daniels, if you've drafted him, you're pretty comfortable to start him at the moment. And after week 1.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. No bother at all.
Much more so than if you've got Caleb Williams, you're probably thinking. I might need to stream a quarterback for a week or 2 till he hopefully beds in, finds his feet a bit more.
Shows something. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I had
I think from
in our main redraft league, I had Richardson. When I drafted him, I was unsure of, and then I got Williams in later on. It was right late on. It seemed really cheap anyway, just to sit on my bench just in case Richardson didn't perform, whatever else. Then obviously Richardson seems more than capable to score fantasy points. So I dropped Williams this week.
Yeah. You don't need to. You don't need to roster another quarterback if you've got Anthony Richardson. You're not playing anybody else other than Richardson. So he's completed 3 games now in his NFL career. Anthony Richardson. He's finished as the QB2, the QB4, the QB4 in 3 full games. So yeah, if you've got him, you're not even considering anybody else.
No.
I think we had a little chat, didn't we, Blandy, before our home league redraft on Friday, and I was saying, there's something about Richardson that's just drawn me into wanting to draft him. Like you say, the numbers are, and even watching that game, he's just wild, isn't he? Like that touchdown where he just launched it off the back foot, falling over to Pierce for like a 60-yard, 70-yard touchdown was just incredible.
Yeah,
there's not many people who can do that. And then you look at his numbers. Do you know how many passes he completed against the?
Yes, I do. I was just about to ask you. 9 passes.
9 passes, Alex. 9 passes he completed.
His accuracy shocking, isn't it? But
that's why Michael Pittman
erratic,
was one of the easiest. Michael Pittman was one of the easiest fades in the whole of drafts. Because Pittman just relies on sheer volume. That's how we got home last year. With Gardner Minshew there, he just got peppered with targets. Well, he's never going to get that with Richardson. Richardson's not particularly good throwing the ball with touch anyway, and he's not going to throw the ball at high volume. So yeah, Pittman's really going to suffer.
Another question from Jonathan.
You're going to interrupt. Go
on. Right. So my other league, I'm in running back shambles with CMC and HN. But luckily, I have Jordan Mason. Well done for handcuffing him, first of all. But if HN sits out, would you start Jeff Wilson or Zach Moss? So Jeff Wilson. Zach Moss was okay, wasn't he? It's in between him and Chase Brown, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Moss played 65% of the snaps in a game that the Bengals were always losing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I suppose that's encouraging because, you know, in a game that they were losing, the outsnapped Chase Brown. So, if they get into a game where they're going to be winning, then you know that snap rate might even be even higher. So, I would start Zach Moss, I think, against the Chiefs. Yeah, I think that's what I would probably do. Does the
Chiefs game scare you at all? Or?
Well, I think it'll be high scoring, or if it has the potential to be high scoring if the Bengals offense can, you know, get out of neutral. Yeah. So it does have that potential to be a high scoring game, and you know, if that's the case, then everybody just gets brought along for the ride, don't they?
I think one of the things we wanted to find out from the start of the season, from draft to actual live games, is how that Cincinnati backfield was going to play out. And yes, it's only one game, and it's not in an ideal game script, but I think we're finding out that Zach Moss is the lead over Chase Brown, aren't we? So in this scenario that Santiago is telling us, I think that just leans us probably towards Zach Moss over Jeff Wilson for me.
Yeah, I mean, Moss had 2 receptions to Chase Brown's 3, but inside the 10-yard line, the Bengals ran 2. The Bengals running backs had 2 touches, and they both of them went to Zach Moss. He led the team. He led the backfield in total touches and snap share. So, yeah, I would lean towards Moss.
Not totally right in Chase Brown out. Oh, no, are we?
No, not week 1. We're not rating anyone.
No.
I was thinking he's trying to try and get him cheap.
He might be able to. Like, he's definitely going to have some massive games because he's not a consistent runner. He might even be a bad runner, but he's an explosive runner. So if he can find a crease, then he has the potential there to take it the whole way for a touchdown, where Zach Moss definitely doesn't.
Yeah. So I'd go with Zach Moss as well. So I think it's unanimous Zach Moss. I don't mind it either.
Any general comments on that Miami backfield before we move on? Just quickly, Achan had some nice touches, but again, there seemed to be more receptions than running in that first game. I know fitness is the concern here, but just in general about the backfield going forward. Jaylen Wright with a healthy scratch, Blandy, is that right?
He was. Jaylen Wright will be active tonight. He'll play because Mostert's out. He's got a rib injury. They're saying doesn't have to go on IR for it, but he's missed tonight. He's going to get 10 days off. We'll have to see for the next game. So hopefully Achan can go tonight. He's going to test his ankle pre-game, and then they'll mix in. Obviously, Jeff Wilson will play the Mostert role, and then we'll see how healthy Achan is, and maybe him and Jaylen Wright will end up splitting that role that Achan had this last week. If Achan's
longer term,
if Achan
is it
plays,
feeling a little bit messy?
Not really, no. No, because it's such a concentrated offense. There's Tyreek Hill, there's Jalen Waddle, and then there's nobody else. So
receiving,
like John O. Smith's a bit part player. Durham Smythe can't command targets. Odell Beckham's on IR, but it's absolutely washed, so it doesn't make any difference.
What about my mate Braxton Berrios?
Well, he played quite a bit last week, Barry, and he did do nothing. So
2 targets, no receptions. No, yeah.
I'll leave that for you.
I noticed he got a new number, hasn't he, this year? Barrios. Can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was like a 0 or something. I was like, I seen the 0 get a reception. I thought, who the hell's that? And it was Barrios.
Yeah, like he ran 35% of the routes. It's just it doesn't matter. It's the 2 wide receivers and it's the running backs. So you can, when it's that concentrated, you can afford to have a committee and everybody still get home.
Yeah. We've currently got 5 viewers. If you've got any questions about your lineup, trades, life in general, just get the question fired in. It's free. It's free. It's not like these other YouTube channels where you have to pay $2.99 to get a question in. We do it for nothing. We do it for the attention. That's all we do it for. So get them fired in.
We've already covered takeaways, but we'll come back onto it if we need to.
Yeah. Pizzas, burgers as well. Yeah. Question from Captain Joe King.
Hello, Neil.
Hi, Joe.
Huge fan of the show. Already a sub. I think I've probably multiple times. Should I trade Worthy and Flowers for Moore? I get Moore. PPR. I presume that's DJ Moore, maybe?
I presume it is as well. The answer
is no.
No.
Well, thank you anyway. Any other news from around the league? Any injury news?
Yes, unfortunately for us and our team in this league.
Oh dear.
Malik Neighbours has just popped up on the injury report today. He was limited with a knee injury, which means he's got injured in training today. So that's something that we're going to have to monitor tomorrow, which is not ideal for us because he's in our lineup.
Yeah, he's in our lineup, isn't he? Who's got him in our redraft league? Steve. Is it Steve?
Steve.
Put it in the WhatsApp group now.
Well, that's obvious why he's got injured, isn't it?
Put it in the WhatsApp group, Bandy. Go on, tag him in. Go on, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Doesn't have any healthy players. Go on. He's got no healthy players, so no wonder one of his healthy players has now got injured.
It makes my day when I see them. When it's not your player and you see Blandy at someone in the group.
Does he have Nico Collins as well?
No, Nico Collins is Hammer.
No.
Nico Collins is Hammer.
Is it? He's got an illness. Christ, where's it gone?
I'm playing Hammer. That's a bonus. Oh.
There we go.
He deserves that for giving you all the shit, doesn't he? I think it's Hammer, definitely. Sorry, if anyone watching, we're just
there we go.
Breaking news.
We're sorting our own leagues out before. Yeah.
Yeah, so that will create a problem for us.
Nico Collins is Hammer.
If this was serious for Davis, hopefully it's not because he was limited. So we'll have to find out the severity of it.
Do you want anything to do with Wandale Robinson in this instance, Blandy?
I'm in a 14 team league, and I have Wandale in that, and he's firmly entrenched in my starting lineup in a 14 team league.
Because it was Malik Neighbours and Wandale Robinson were the target leaders, weren't they, from week 1 from the Giants?
Yeah, he had 12 targets. Did Wandale?
Yeah.
in week one. Like he's always been able to command targets. That's never been a problem. The problem is the depth that he commands those targets. It's 5.2 ADOT. So yeah, it was nothing special, but he's a PPR scam. So
did you see Neighbours get interviewed after the game?
He said, no.
And he said they asked him about Daniel Jones and why he wasn't getting more targets or something like that. And he goes, I don't know what's going on back there.
I mean, I can tell you what's going on back there. Daniel Jones is atrocious.
Well, I can't imagine that Daniel Jones is like that. But
they play the Commanders this week. Who have probably a bottom three defense. So the Giants need to get a win this week because they've got Cleveland coming up. Obviously, that's a good defense, and then they've got the Cowboys coming up as well. It's obviously good defense, good offense. So you don't really want to be going into week 5 not 0-4. So,
I did notice the Commanders were actually 1.5 favourites on the line as well.
They are. The Commanders are favourites at home, yeah.
I mean, that's not much of an indictment on the Giants, is it?
No, it's not a good look. Not a good look.
They've lost the way somewhat from 2 years ago when Dayball came in and sort of got them sort of shipshape and quite efficient. They've just sort of spiralled a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, it turned to shit last year with all the injuries, didn't it? And I think that left a pretty sour taste. And obviously we don't know what the New York market media circus is like, but I can't imagine it's very pretty.
Yeah. And straight into this, Keon tonight or questionable neighbours. Cheers for the question, Boone. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We much appreciate it. I like your PFP as well.
I mean, that's tough. If they're your only two options, if you've got no other options, then I think you've got to go with the safety of Keon, knowing that he's going to play. But
he'll get you some points.
Yeah. The thing is, if this thing with neighbours is nothing, then
brushed off by Saturday, you've snookered yourself a bit, haven't you?
Yeah, and like against this Commanders defense, he he has the potential to have a massive game, eh?
Yeah. And what was the injury news? What's the early report? Did we say?
Just a knee injury. The severity unknown. The Giants haven't reported on the severity of it. They don't have to. They only have to list him. So
yeah, knee injuries are wide ranging, aren't they?
Could be anything. Could have knocked. Just bumped knees and okay, take a couple of players off. Once you do that, then you're classed as limited. So it's hard to know without any media coverage from the team about it. Might come later on tonight before the Bills game, but as of now, we don't know. It's just purely guesswork.
I'll tell you what, Blandy. I'll send you a link there for its neighbours being interviewed after training today. I've sent it on the WhatsApp group. If you go on mute and listen to that, and then report
feedback.
I couldn't really hear because you two were talking. It goes in my ear. Didn't sound like it might not be that bad anyway. Because we were saying before, Keon Coleman, he looks decent, doesn't he?
Did you watch the Bills game?
Yeah, watched the. Put it on mute.
The sake doesn't quite follow instructions there, does he? There we go. Have you muted him for him?
Yeah, muted him.
Yeah, I thought Coleman looked good. I thought Shakir looked good as well. Flashes. I think it's very much the Josh Allen show now, isn't it? He's not going to be relying on one player. He's going to take a handful of people with him.
Yeah, definitely. He just took the
I love
game
his
into his
hurdle.
own hands, didn't he? And just fucking went nuts.
Love a hurdle as well. Absolutely love a hurdle.
Yeah. Blandy, still on mute.
6'5" hurdling people. Class.
What did he say?
Well, nothing about the injury. He's just talking
Right.
about playing. He's just talking about playing this weekend, so I can only presume that it's a minor injury, because there's absolutely nothing to suggest that he's injured from that interview.
And nothing about pizza either. Detroit style, Chicago style, or New York style.
No pizza, no favorite toppings or anything. It's disappointing. But he didn't mention the knee. So
wasn't really worth pouring on after that. Thanks for that.
Well,
Yeah,
no, it probably was. Generally, if a player is injured badly, he's obviously not badly injured, because he's done media obligation. So yeah, I can only presume it's a minor thing.
So we're gonna change our tune with Boone and go for hold out on Neighbours on the upside against the Commanders.
Yeah, say a little prayer.
Always
works. Always works. Thoughts and prayers.
Pray those fantasy gods.
Malik Neighbours was acting not like himself in the locker room today. Some players were asking him how he was. Now we know why. He's now on the injury report as limited with knee injury. NFL columnist, Giants beat reporter.
Is that Connor Hughes?
Pat Leonard.
Oh yeah, he's a good Giants beat reporter as well.
Yeah, so he's saying that he wasn't like himself, and some players were asking him, and now they know why.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I'm not sure we answered your question, Boone. It's like
I did try to. I did try to say we're going to go for Neighbours.
Do you reckon hold on for Neighbours?
We're going to take the risk. Yeah. We went risk averse before when we said go for Brian Rusnov or Xavier Worthy or whatever it was. We're going to go. Let's take the risk and go for Neighbours, because he could have a monster week against that Commanders secondary.
Yeah.
Even with one leg.
Okay, let's fuck it. Let's roll the dice.
Yeah.
Let's roll the dice. What was I going to ask? Oh, right. Yeah, we were talking about Robinson, right? Tough one. Yeah, wait on Neighbours. Fingers crossed, mate. Yeah, no, why have I pulled Damian Pierce up?
Don't know.
Alec Pierce. Right, so we're talking about Robinson, right?
Now,
obviously, you had
Robinson?
Richardson.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
Sorry, because we were talking about Robinson, the Commanders, weren't we?
We were.
Right. So, Anthony Richardson obviously had 2 bombs to the Pierce. Scored a
touchdown.
Scored for 125 yards, touchdown, whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So he's available in our redraft league at the top of the waiver list, right? Now I have Watson. Bear in mind, I've got Richardson as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Now I've got Watson on my bench.
Right.
And then with the injury to Love,
you can't use him.
I can't use him. I can't really be bothered. Do I just pick Pierce up for that little stack?
It might do you some good in the short term. What I was going to say before we went through the question is, do we think the Colts have got a sneaky little good wide receiver room there with Pittman, Adonai Mitchell, then they've got Downs, they've got Pierce, even this guy I've never heard of, Ashton Doolin, came in for a 1 reception, 154-yarder touchdown. Do we think they've got a few decent options in that backfield? And then receiver room, sorry.
Yeah, they do. Like Pittman Pittman is like a target hog. Doesn't really suit Richardson's game. Pierce definitely does. I mean, like Pierce got the 2 long receptions this week that paid off, but Richardson also overshot Adonai Mitchell on 2 long receptions that could have played off. So, what's to say that doesn't switch?
Switch around next week,
this coming week. Like I won't feel very confident about plugging someone into my lineup that has a 41.6 yards per target and a 39-yard A dot. That seems that has inconsistency written all over it. So,
he seems the sort of player. The way you're going to use him is if you can hold him on your bench and come by weeks or a few injuries, and you need to put someone in a flex to roll the dice. He's somebody you can have a roll of the dice on. I don't think he's a guy you put in and think, oh, he's going to be my wide receiver 2 or 3, and he'll be consistent throughout the season. So it depends on how you want to use him, man. If you say this week I need a player who can get me 15 points, he could get you them.
Yeah, I think it was just one of them. I think I was thinking like if I was struggling one week and like I needed like a big ceiling sort of win,
I think
to like could shot him in. It's not like
he's
a play every week kind of lad.
Yeah, no, in that scenario, I think that's how you use him. Pick him up if you've got space to hold him, and when you need a player to put in your flex, he could give you an option.
Because I'm gonna have to hold Christian Watson for like what? About 3-4 weeks. We'd love to come back.
2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Even still, that is a busy wide receiver room at the Packers now, isn't it? And Jaden Reed had a good game. Romeo Doubs was the second receiver in that group with Love. So then Watson, does he get just targeting that deep threat long again? So is he even that usable with Love week in, week out? Dontavian Wick's never got much of a look in, did he? So he's a tricky one to work out, Christian Watson, I think.
Yeah, I think Watson was the one who got the end zone target, so wasn't he? So
yeah,
it was a clear. It's a clear plan where
he's got a role in the team.
Yeah, when they get there, I mean, like he did perfectly fine. Because he
I think my own question mark
with touchdown.
My own question mark with him is how reliable is he with his hands as well? I don't know I just feel like he's a bit of a guy who could drop one. Maybe it's the fact that he's getting these huge bombs coming over his shoulder quite a lot of the time, but I just have a little bit of a trust issue with him that he can drop a good pass rather than he can turn a bit of a wayward one and grab it.
I don't know what to do.
Find a decent podcast and ask them a question, and that's my recommendation.
pay $2.99. Ask your question.
Yeah. Yes, worth every penny, every cent.
So next, obviously our thumbnail for tonight was the return of the king, Derrick Henry. Now, I think Mr. Bland thinks he's going to have a big week this week.
Yeah, well, the Ravens are 8.5-point favourites against the Raiders, who we just saw J.K. Dobbins gashed to pieces.
Absolutely gash.
So I don't see any reason why Derrick Henry can't be fantasy relevant this week, as he wasn't really last week. He got phased out of the game last week. Anyone who started him last week got very lucky that he scored his touchdown when the game was still close.
Andy, just do us a favour and bring your microphone a bit closer.
Sorry.
Since we did that Twitter expedition thing, we seem to have lost a bit of quality on our sound.
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
sounds all right to me. Yeah.
The quality won't be any good, but you might be able to hear me.
Oh,
you're still talking shite, but you.
Oh yeah.
Fluid. Which is louder shite.
Yeah. Fluid in bullshit.
So what you're saying to me is I can load him up for at least a 2 touchdown bet?
Yeah, I would say probably 350 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he did score multiple touchdowns in this game. To be perfectly honest with you, and let's see what his prop line is for overs on rushing yards. Yeah,
Are you putting him in your DFS?
I don't know. He's definitely playable. I think he's 6,700. I think. So he's definitely in the play pool of running backs that I want to mix in at the price that he is.
It'll be really interesting to see if he hits the gap against Raiders and he gets through. Does he still have that burst of speed where once he gets going that nobody catches him, or does he get slowed down because his father time's caught up with him or not? That'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, last year it certainly didn't look like he'd lost a step when he got into the open space.
He just couldn't get to that line because every time he got the ball, he didn't get any speed up, but he had people on his shoelaces, didn't he? Whereas I think the Raiders will create some holes for him, won't they?
Hopefully, if they can sort the roll line out, that was a bit of a disaster against the Chiefs. But they're a well coached team. You would imagine at some point they're going to get that fixed.
Coach that up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, their roll line was a bit of a disaster, and I didn't think their defense was particularly good either, to be quite honest. They missed Mike McDonald, and then you saw what Mike McDonald did with the Seahawks defense, albeit it's against Bo Nix, so you don't know how much that is Nix, how much is that is the Seattle defense. But I think Mike McDonald's a very, very good defensive coach. He showed that last year, and I don't know how much of an effect he'll have on the Seahawks one. That remains to be seen. But the Ravens will definitely feel his loss and all that.
I thought the Ravens did all right for all of the struggles, like I say, the running back, the O-line, the defense. They hung with the Chiefs and were still in the in the game till the very last play, weren't they? So I think Lamar carried them obviously a bit and played very well. But I thought, with everything else that was going on, they're still competitive when they're still in the game in Arrowhead week 1.
Yeah, that might have been down to the Chiefs taking the foot off the gas. Andy Reid getting bored and doing silly shit like using Juju Smith-Schuster on end zone plays and stuff like that.
On to some sad news, guys. We had our first defeat in our very own league in the first week. We scored 129.66. However, Ryan and Kev scored 135.6. We needed Breece Hall to come good. Didn't play that bad, but he only scored 18.3 points. We got let down by Marvin Harrison
all the way through, weren't we?
Yeah, we didn't ever look like winning, did we?
No, not really. No, I'm surprised. I was surprised how close it ended up in the end, to be quite honest.
Yeah, because we had Debo as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And well, saying that, there's still a bit of a bright light. So we've got Wright on the bench, we've got Dobbins on the bench,
and they're under the light.
So all's not lost.
Oh. We've got Cortland Sutton in his air yards.
The players who didn't perform for us, I think we're going to stick with them though and hope they bounce back, aren't we? In Christian Kirk and Marvin Harrison. There's no reason to move away from them right now.
No. I mean,
what do we think of McCaffrey's first week? I know we kept him over
DeMarcus Robinson and Jalen Tolbert. DeMarcus Robinson one doesn't look like the best of drops now, does it? With a poor injury, but obviously you can't see that. So
no. I think McCaffrey looked all right. I think we touched him before. That a few flashes. I think Daniels did all right. So yeah, he's going to be someone to play when we're in a tricky spot. I don't think he's going to nudge out some of our better receivers as a a selection when everyone's available, but there's still a little bit of upside there that he could be that wide receiver 2 in the team.
Yeah, it's wide open, and for a rookie, his week 1 usage was encouraging. So there's nothing to put us off there.
On to Thursday night football.
Let's do it.
The Bills versus the Dolphins. Mr. Bland's going to have a nap after this, then get back up, I presume.
Yes, I will be getting the alarm set for 1:10.
It's a good game, this one. Would you be getting up if it was the Giants versus the Panthers, or
if it was early in the season? When it gets later in the season,
to get your fix.
When it gets later in the season, and it's going to be Drew Lock against Andy Dalton, I'm going to be there. Fuck that, no chance. I'll watch it in the morning.
No.
I'll pick my spots.
No, I think this one's a good game, isn't it? The Bills, the Dolphins, and let's say high score predicted. Dolphins 2.5 point favourites.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
No, I'll say how are you calling it? How are you calling it out as a Bills fan?
I was pleasantly surprised last week. The defense is still a bit questionable, isn't it?
Yeah, very questionable.
But just Josh is just an absolute beast, isn't he? Just grabs a game by the scruff of its neck.
And that's it. Like the for the spread.
You know what's coming, boys. You know what's coming. If I get a question on the board,
that's what made me stop going.
I'm going to interrupt you. So, a question from Zed Smitty. Zed Smitty, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'd much appreciate it. Start Goff, Tua, or Fields?
That is a tricky question. Have we got any easier questions?
I would probably start Tua at home in what has the potential to be a high-scoring game. That's who I would go with. He's got both his wide receivers are healthy. We're a bit unsure about how the backfield's going to play out. So does that mean they just pass more? It becomes even more concentrated with Hill, with Waddle. So yeah, I would side towards Tua.
I would echo that. I certainly would scratch Fields off. I think Goff, possibly again. Detroit normally high-scoring games, but I still think they get quite a lot of points or quite a lot of yardage through the ground game, don't they?
JMO come out of the JMO's come out
that 1A1 beast.
One.
Yeah.
So I think Tua is the player. Like I say, he can get you 300 plus yards and 3 touchdown game, can't he? Quite easily.
There's a potential there with the running game a bit banged up. Goff wasn't good against the Rams on Sunday night.
No.
Goff had a rough game.
And I always I say it every week. I always like a little. If you got a piece on the Thursday night football, I don't mind a little piece just to keep me interested.
No mention of the Thursday night curse this year, then, eh?
Not yet, mate. It hasn't struck yet, has it?
Is that
give it time.
Give it time.
Give it time.
So yes, we're going to.
So what was I mumbling about before this question?
Don't know. I switched off, Blandy.
We were saying the Bills were underdogs tonight.
Yeah. So
yes,
I mean,
Josh Allen.
Do you not just want to side with the best quarterback? And if the best quarterback's getting 2.5 points, is it as simple as that? I don't know.
It can be. There's no need to overcomplicate it sometimes, is there? I think what I quite like about the Bills is the fact that they've got 3 or 4 receivers without a standout, and it means they can probably just move them all around, spread them all around. keep the defense on their toes a little bit. You're not just looking to double team Diggs or whatever. And I think that can sort of play to the favour. Yes, they might lose the real sort of consistency or even a bit of deeper throws, but just that slow march down the field through lots of different options, I think suits Allen, and let him just lead it down, and then obviously use his legs when he needs to.
Yeah, well, it is.
Be an advantage for them.
It is a slow march down the field because the Bills under Joe Brady don't have much particular interest in passing the ball. They're a very run heavy team now with the Bills. They're not a pass first team that they were under Dable and Ken Dorsey. Since Joe Brady took over, they went very run heavy second half of last season into the playoffs, and that followed suit against the Cardinals in week 1. When Allen did pass the ball, he was efficient at it, but he didn't pass the ball a great deal. They were 23rd in the league in pass rate over expectation. So expecting the Bills to pass a lot is not something that's going to really happen in neutral game script this year. They're very much going to be a run first team.
In terms of fantasy,
we need it.
Go on.
We need a league where we can customize the rules and say you get 2 points for a hurdle. Because I think watching Josh Allen hurdle is just tremendous. It should get you some more points.
6'5", just hurdling people.
Just like you stepping over a blooming, I don't know, stepping up a curb, wasn't it? I'll just have a quick hurdle over this. Oh, I'm in the end zone. Get in.
He injured himself though, didn't he? He knocked his wrist, but it's on his non-throwing hand. It's his left wrist.
Hand. Yeah. Did he get it taped, or was he just? I can remember during the game him sort of going to it.
Yeah, I think he got it. Taped.
6'5",
right.
17 stone, just jumping over fork. Yeah. So in terms of fantasy for the Bills, yeah, you're firing everyone up. I guess. Would you fire Shakir up?
In a
flex,
possibly. Possibly. I'm not a particular fan of Shakir anyway. He only ran 66% of the routes the other day. What did he have? 3 targets, scored a touchdown. Yeah, it's it can go wrong very quickly. You can quite easily end up with a duck egg there, I think.
Yeah, you're not firing.
It's a bit of a leap.
No,
it's a bit of a leap of faith, isn't it?
Yeah, James Cook, Allen, Kincaid are your only definite starters, and then I would much rather play Coleman over Shakir.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. What was your thoughts on Kincaid's first week?
Disappointing. Ran 85% of the routes, so that was good. Because Dawson Knox was was healthy, so to see him run that amount of routes was great. That Knox didn't take him off the field, but drawing 2 targets, one catch, was really disappointing.
But like a lot of the players who've flopped week 1, we just want to give them a bit more time, see a bit more of them. See if that was just potentially a down week. Matchup, game script, or just game plan, not game script. Something just not quite featuring for him, but there's every chance it turns back up, isn't it?
Yeah, the good thing for tight ends last week was everyone was shit unless you were Isaiah Likely or Foster Moreau, who nobody started either of them in any standard redraft league. So you weren't hurt by your lack of production at the tight end position because everybody suffered.
It seemed like it was a week where the quarterbacks struggled because there wasn't many quarterbacks putting up good yardages, and running backs had quite good days, whether it was just a touchdown here out of the blue or some good yardages. It felt like a good week for running backs, not great for QBs and tight ends, and wide receivers very hit and miss.
it's the lowest passing yardage for the league as a whole in week 1 since 2016. So
Right.
yeah, and I think this is
Yep.
this is just a knock-on effect of teams not playing in the preseason anymore. The first couple of weeks of the regular season now are essentially going to be preseason games, and then once we get out of September, teams are going to start getting rolling, and if they're going to be a lot better, and we're going to have a better idea of what the identity of teams are once we get out of September. Now we're still very much a guessing game.
Are you having that stat? And lowest quarterback yard since 2016 for week 1.
I think it's a good point on the pre-season, but there's just not enough quarterbacks, is there?
Not to go around, not good ones, and you can't really win with a bad one, can you? So, which is one of the reasons why I didn't mind taking Penix and just benching him, just stash a quarterback. I don't think that's a bad shout.
Right, so question from Bryce. Hello, Bryce. Yeah, we're doing well. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Much appreciated. Dak or Chua play this week, boys?
Dak?
Yeah. So Dak Prescott or Chua?
This is a tricky one.
I think Dak has the highest ceiling out of the two of them.
He's got a good matchup this week, hasn't he?
Against the Saints, back home in the Dome. After subpar game last week against good defense in
pretty much
the Browns.
One in second gear though. One in second gear, the Cowboys, didn't they? They were up early and never really had to push or press, so Dak could just have an easy ride and see the game and win the game throughout. So he didn't earn any fantasy points because he didn't need to get the ball down the field, did he?
No. I think he has the highest ceiling of the two of them. So I would lean Dak back at home, back in the Dome.
So go with Dak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Question from Andrew Aspoliakis. Did I pronounce that right? I think that was a good effort, 10-man PPR. Achan, Ridley, Jordan Mason for Gibbs. Ridley and Jordan don't start.
Oh, is this a trade? Week 1 trade offer, right? Okay.
Seems like it.
10. So it's a 10-man league. So you should always have a better team with a 10-man league. We don't play many 10-man leagues.
Yeah.
So you're saying, he's going to get Gibbs and he's going to give up Achan, Ridley, and Mason. And he's saying he doesn't normally play Ridley or Mason. Well, he wouldn't be playing Mason most of the time anyway because you've probably picked him late up as a handcuff. You're just reaping a reward now. So you're sort of saying Achan and Ridley for Gibbs. I think Achan was a high draft pick, wasn't he? I'm not sure we want to give up on him. I think we've said at the start of the show, didn't we? Even with a little bit of complication in the backfield and not all of the touches, he's still explosive enough to turn that into touchdown and long gains. So do we want to give up that for Gibbs, who was pretty much the same? Not getting all the touches, but explosive enough to do something with him. It feels a bit of a picky poison for me.
Yeah. Just between I would want the Achan side of that deal.
Yeah, I think having Mason and using him at the moment, I know he's saying he doesn't start, but he could quite easily start. I say if the 49ers are rolling at the moment in the next few weeks. So, and I mean, Ridley's just, again, another one, tricky one to work out. I think Achan and Mason with Ridley as an option for bye weeks, etc., is probably better than Gibbs.
Yeah, I want Achan.
And then another question from Bryce. Pick 3, Wilson, Olave, Ayuk, and Nico. Nico has got that illness, hasn't he? What's the crap with that?
Yeah, he's on the injury report with an illness.
I thought Nico was outstanding last week.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's a good player, isn't he?
He's excellent.
Good player.
Yeah, I thought Ayuk looked like he hadn't practiced all summer and was out of here. So until I see more from him, then I will go with the other three.
Fair. They didn't seem to target him too much either, did they? So maybe the team knew that as well.
Yeah, there was reports pre-game that he wasn't going to play his full usual role. That they were only going to use him in certain situations, which is what they did.
And Joanne Jennings got a bit more involved than he normally does. He about 5 or 6 receptions.
Yeah.
For me, if Nico's well, he should be starting every week.
Yes.
He's a lock.
Yes. Yeah, and Garrett Wills.
Yeah, I mean I watched that Jets game back. Man, they are thin at skill positions, aren't they? The Jets. They've got 3 players, and one of them's Alan Hazard.
It's very fragile, isn't it? Very fragile.
Wow.
But it sounds like Andrew agreed with us anyway, so Wilson will have Nico for Andrew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good man.
Quick question from Andrew as well. Would you start A-Chain if he's a full go today? He's expected to test out pre-game.
Well, I will speak. I will speak on this because it's a decision I have to make. And if he's active, I will be playing him. I will be putting him in my lineup. So
if you sat there watching the game and you're getting the news come through as it happens, and you've got a chance to change it out, and yes, I'd have him in the starting spot and only swap him out if he's not if the news comes through he's not playing.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'll only take him out the lineup if he's inactive. Because we know he doesn't need many touches to be fantasy relevant. He's already proven that time and time again. So even if he's limited, he only touches the ball 10 times. He could put up quite a few points in those 10 touches.
Just looking at that, them Houston wide receivers. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He's salivating.
Do you think you could get Tank Dell a bit cheaper now or not?
If you can get Tank Dell cheaper, Anthony, you go out and get Tank Dell cheaper.
Wishful thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is because I have him in our home league. So
yeah, no, I noticed that. Yeah, check it already.
Anyway, getting him.
Check it already.
Yeah, 103 air yards he had. It's there were a couple a couple of yards off some big players, him and Stroud. So there's a big game coming for Tag very, very shortly.
How far do you think the Texans can go?
They can definitely go deep, that's for sure. Definitely
give anyone a game, I think.
Quality quarterback, wide receiving corp. If they all stay fit, who was the tight end?
Dalton Schultz. He's injured actually.
Schultz, yeah.
He's injured.
He's not that relevant. I think when you've got three good receivers, and I did again a little bit of research on the stats numbers from this week. You've got Nico, you've got Tank, you've got Diggs. Targets 876, receptions 6 yards, 117 to Nico, 40 to Tank, 33 to Diggs. Then touchdowns, 2 to Diggs and none to the others. So there's a lot of even numbers at the start. It's then a bit up and down on other things, but you'd expect over the course of the season, each player to have different hits, different weeks. The fact that they're all getting enough volume is suggesting you can start all 3.
Yeah.
Or whichever one of the 3, it'll just fluctuate week on week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all 3 ran over 80% of the routes, which is great. And then Nico had 122 air yards. Tank Dell had 103 air yards, which is great for him to bounce back. Steph Diggs had 10 air yards with an average depth of target of 1.7 yards, which for him is not ideal. But then he was the first read on 2 players at the goal line, which obviously is good for his fantasy value, kind of papering over the cracks of his lack of receiving that he's going to get.
But also, it's the first week, isn't it? So it might,
exactly.
he's just learning the offense and stuff. So I'd expect that to start increasing.
Question from Swar. If you haven't subscribed, Swar, please subscribe. And much appreciated. Right, so big one. So bear with. Got offered Lamar, Kyron, Amari Cooper, Devontae for Caleb, JT, JJ. So if he accepted, my team would be Lamar, Andrews, Kyron, Kamara, Ford, Dobbins, Ramondre, Marv, DGM, Devontae, Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, and Shakir. So he got offered Lamar, Kyron, Amari Cooper, Devontae.
So I think my question would be, who's his quarterback before? If he doesn't get Lamar, who's he rolling out? Is he rolling out Caleb Williams as his only quarterback?
Sounds that way, doesn't it? So is that for Caleb Williams, and you haven't got any other quarterback other than Caleb Williams?
So just trying to pick through it. Then I think getting Lamar is obviously a massive upside.
Yeah, so Caleb, sadly.
Yeah, so he's in a little bit of a tough spot there at QB at the moment. Put the question back on a second, Av. So I think Kyron and maybe
Kyron and JT
similar value.
Are a wash, yeah.
Amari Cooper obviously isn't as good as JJ, but you're getting the upside of Lamar. So I think that's what you're sort of working on, and the fact that you've got a need at QB is probably going to lean me to take Lamar and give up Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, because you sacrifice an elite wide receiver to get a quarterback, but get more depth at wide receiver with Amari Cooper, and presuming that's Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I hope it's Devonta
Smith.
Yeah.
Devonta Smith's usage
usable
was very, very encouraging. He played in the slot a lot, and that slot role for Kellen Moore is a very profitable role. So
I would also say it sounds like Swar is in a league where there's plenty of trade activity. If he's got that Marv, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, he could maybe look to move two of them and on for one and try and upgrade his wide receiver at some point as well.
I'm looking at try to move Ramondre off that good week.
Yeah,
he's got it's a
good shot.
So if he goes with that trade, he's got Kyron, Kamara, and Dobbins. So like you've got three of them there.
Yeah, strong. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe move Ramondre off. So, right, first of all, do we think to say yes to that trade to get Lamar in?
I think so. I think Lamar's worth it. I think he's gonna solve his quarterback issue because I'm not sure he can roll with Caleb for the rest of the season if he doesn't pick up and he's rolling at 10 points a week. Whereas, Lamar can give you 25 points and big spikes.
And we're more than happy with Kyron the first week, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I think we're happy with Kyron generally, isn't he? He's going to get his touches blindly, isn't he?
Yeah, Kyron's usage was elite for a punt returner.
And then with
JT's usage was not elite,
wasn't it?
No, and he's got Richardson likes to get. Richardson likes to shove his shoulder in and get over the into the pay dirt, doesn't he? Rather than hand it off to Taylor to do it.
So fair enough. Maybe you are losing on the JJ side, but then you could be actually gaining on the JT, and obviously you're gaining with Lamar.
Yeah.
So it seems to be pretty balanced, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's.
And then the team once it's done, it seems pretty balanced.
You'd maybe just say, can I look for a trade elsewhere and try and get an upgrade on a wide receiver? Can I get somebody else and maybe do a 2-for-1? If you're giving up a Stevenson or DJ Moore, or if you want to jump ship on Marv Harrison early or Amari or T. Higgins or any of them, could I do a 2-for-1 and get a better stud wide receiver, possibly?
Yeah. Long story short, I'd do it. Do it. Because Caleb Williams looks... You can't really trust him, can you?
No, you you're going to need a lot of improvement, and it's not going to come quickly, I don't think.
Good defense they're going up against this week again in the Texans.
And then you've got Lamar.
Yeah, I thought he played very well against the Chiefs, Lamar. I know they were saying in commentary a lot about him taking ownership, being a bit more leader in that offense. So I think I like that trajectory with him.
His rushing was excellent. Yeah,
he seemed to
something yards or something.
Yeah, a lot more purpose to his running as well, wasn't it? Sometimes rather than just backward scrambling design runs.
Yeah. I mean, he had 41 pass attempts, that's not the way the Ravens want to play, really. But it's that Russian production that's going to give you a boost on a weekly basis.
Yep. Well, boys, I think that's it.
No DFS. No DFS.
You want to touch on DFS?
Well,
let's do it.
Well, I
Let's
think
fire it up.
there's a couple of
Let's fire it up. Yeah.
there's a couple of absolute stonking values in DFS.
While you fire it up, I'll just quickly mention one player I know we all know about because I've spoken about it in the last couple of days. Who I've been targeting in leagues to try and get all over, and that's Jameson Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's had a belt in first week, so the price is going to be high. But I think from where his draft position was in rounds 10 plus, he's give you everything you want to see from him. Talented player, good usage, good team. I think he's somebody to try and target. So maybe wait for him to have a down week and try and get hold of him. Is my my player.
Full-time player.
I'll just throw loads at him. Throw loads at him and get him.
Yeah. Both him and Amon-Ra, 90% route rate.
Which one is it again, Brandy?
What?
Best ball.
Classic. No, not best ball. You biff. Classic. Top. Yeah. And then Sunday, 13 games. So go up. Sunday, 13 games. Yeah. I don't click on there. Just click on. That's it. Okay. And then any of those contests, doesn't matter which one. Not going to
we don't like that. We don't like the big one, do we?
No. Oh, you're going to enter something, are you?
No, because last week was shit.
It's always shit. The whole point is that you lose a lot and then you actually win big. You can't win week over week.
Okay, let's do that one. Right.
Just to clarify, we're not guaranteeing a DFS win every week, are we not?
Yeah, only losses.
This is not financial advice.
We guarantee only losses. All right. Wide receiver.
Yeah.
The best value that you will see for a long time. Cooper Kupp, 7,600. Cooper Kupp should be well over 9,000.
Okay.
You do projections for the week. What are you going to project his target share to be? 33, 35, 40% target share at 7,600.
Yeah.
Against the worst defense in the league in the Cardinals. Yep, Samuel. That one's dead easy. Another one who I think is decent value is Rashid Rice, 6,700.
That's a prize. Why is that?
Because
why is he cheap?
Well, because it's done at the initial price and what they're going for week one. Then if they have a big week, they'll step it up. But they can only step it up in increments. They can't jump massively. But again, Rashid Rice really strong last week. Obviously, he was Mahomes' first read on a lot of players, and as he's coming on, he's kind of taken over the Travis Kelce role in the middle of the field. He's getting the dump offs, and then obviously he's a lot more athletic than Kelce, so he's getting the yards after catch. So yeah, he's one that I really like. You can go and running back if you want, Anthony.
Running back.
Yeah. The easiest one is Jordan Mason. He's priced at 5,200. So, yeah, everyone's going to play him, but
I was going to ask that. So, like, what we touched on last week when
yeah,
the
but
usage stuff.
Yeah, you've got to eat the chalk sometimes, haven't you?
Also, if you didn't play Mason, you'd be screwed.
Potentially. But it's just because he's so cheap that he lets you do other things with your lineup. And if we're going to do it for shits and giggles, we might as well put Derrick Henry in at 6,000.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what I was looking at next time there.
Yeah.
But
I'm just going to enter it. I'm going to enter it.
Well,
do it.
You've got two starting running backs there that could quite easily see 40 touches between them. That's less than 12,000 in salary. So that lets you do a lot of other things with your lineup.
What quarterback do we fancy? Richardson against Green Bay.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold's 5,200
against the 49ers. I'm not sure I fancy that. I mean, you get your ownership leverage, that's for sure, because I don't think anybody would be playing it.
Captain Ahab, we answered your questions at the start of the show. Not sure if you've caught up yet. I can't remember what we said now, but they're there. If you've got any other questions, fire them away now. We can get some for free. Yeah. So Darnold's a no-go, isn't it? So what about Baker?
Against the Lions, but it has potential to be a shootout. Yeah.
Played all right last week.
We're putting with one of his wide receivers, and then you can have Jameson Williams as you come back, and that'll satisfy Barry.
So we could
don't mind that shout, yeah.
You want Evans or Godwin?
Let's have a look. How much Godwin must be cheap, is he?
Yeah, 6,000 for Godwin.
Let's go Evans.
Okay. Then in the flex, put Jameson Williams in the flex. Type of this easier.
Williams.
Pick the right Jameson Williams, not Jamal Williams. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's.
Then, hang on. Start to bench one this week. Miller, Coleman, Cooper. Yeah, we've answered that one. Tight end.
Probably want to pay. Well, we're going to have to pay down the tight end, aren't we? We might have to take Evans out. We might not.
Yeah, he's too expensive, isn't he?
Yeah, we can go. I mean, Godwin. What was Godwin
6,000.
had 8 targets last week or something, didn't he? Tampa Bay, Godwin. Yeah, 8 targets.
What
Godwin,
the
83 yards.
I'll tell you what the Chargers defense.
They're the expensive, are they?
3,400.
Yeah. I was looking at the Giants defense maybe against Washington. I don't know. What type?
The Chargers defense against the Panthers, isn't it?
Giants versus Washington.
Sorry, I said what about the Chargers defense?
Chargers, yeah.
They're too expensive.
Too expensive.
Yeah.
Too expensive.
Well, put them in. What does it leave us? Or can we find a tight end for 3,200? I mean,
Munt, I've never heard of in my life.
Fucking Colby Parkinson, 3,100.
Bosh.
Yeah, let's have a look. So there's a potential Parkinson might be the
second highest target share.
Second receiver, potentially.
Yeah. There's a pathway there, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, he had 5 targets against the Lions, but he ran a route on 76% of dropbacks, which is more than usable, especially in this price range. He's going to be on the field. He's going to be running routes in a game that has potential to be a bit of a shootout in a dome, with going up against a bad defense.
He sounds like a league winner for the week, that guy. If he hits, doesn't he?
Good old Colby.
Could well be.
So that's it. We've got Baker Mayfield, Mason, Henry, Cup, Rice, Godwin, Parkinson, Williams, Chargers. It seems like a strong team, that.
What can go wrong?
Enter.
Click enter. There you go. It's $12 down the drain. Come back next week.
Easy come, easy go, eh?
Definitely. Like all seriousness, like Cooper Cup 7,600 is ridiculous.
He's a steal, isn't he?
Oh god, yeah. 21 targets last week against the Lions. 21 targets. Ridiculous.
Right, anything else?
Just time to go to bed.
Yeah. Brill, good show, lads. Thanks very much for anyone joining who did.
Pleasure as always.
Sleep. Enjoy the game, and we'll catch you all the weekend.
But we will.
Bye bye for now.